This is what you call off-road, but Volkswagen's ventures in this segment have so far been limited to the Tiguan and the Touareg. Now the car maker is embarking on new ground with the Amarok, the first ever VW pickup. Surprisingly nimble despite its 2 tons, the Amarok powers its way over inhospitable terrain. When it came to developing the Amarok, the VW engineers were able to draw on insights from the Touareg and Tiguan. But those two ultimately remain SUVs and are not pickups. Volkswagen's Andreas Meurer says pickups, especially mid-size pickups, are one of the fastest growing segments in the world. VW has never delved into this segment before and is now debuting on this stage, and it's an impressive premiere, he insists. The Amarok looks robust enough from the outside. Major factors here are the high wheel wells and side skirts. VW gives you a choice of 3 trim lines for the interior. The most expensive boasts a leather-clad steering wheel and other extras. The transmission is 6-speed with manual shifting. We tested the Amarok with a driver-activated 4-wheel drive. There's no wrist-breaking window winding required here, thanks to power windows in the front and rear. The seats feature high-quality leather upholstery. In fact, they almost look too comfy for a robust pickup. A 3-seat rear bench makes this a fully fledged 5-seater, and they can be folded down in 2 different ways depending on your needs. The actual cargo bed is further back, of course. 4 lashing rings are provided for securing bulkier objects. The maximum payload is 1 ton. Prices in Germany for the Amarok start at just under 29,000 euros for the entry model with rear-wheel drive only. All versions are powered by a 2-liter BiTurbo with 163 horsepower. ESP is standard. Volkswagen is also seeking to expand into those markets where it has yet to establish itself, says Dietmar Schmitz. They are always looking to launch new models. Increasingly, customers and importers have been asking about these vehicles. VW has a wide variety of options for the Amarok, adds Schmitz. In addition to the classic rear-wheel drive, there are 2 different all-wheel versions, which is the first in this class. There's also the tried-and-tested driver-activated 4-wheel drive. The range also includes the convenient 4-motion permanent drive option. The engine is easily accessible, with nothing hidden away under plastic. This baby delivers a maximum torque of 400 Newton meters. Time to activate the gear reduction, because we're going off-road. On tough terrain, like here in Argentina, the Amarok is clearly at home. Even inclines and descents of 45 degrees are no problem for the Amarok. Plus, its long spring travel and high ground clearance also enable it to master the toughest of terrains with ease. The engine distributes power to the 4 separate wheels as required. Not even half a meter of water can hold up the Amarok. The vehicle will first be launched in South America, reveals VW's Andreas Meurer. The major markets here are Argentina and Brazil. It will also be coming to other big markets such as Australia, South Africa, and Russia. And in the summer, it will be arriving in Western Europe. Pickups have never been a frequent sight on German roads. The Amarok could soon change that. This is one mean little mover. If you're looking for a car that costs under 20,000 euros but can do 200 kilometers an hour, you'll be interested in getting to know the Suzuki Swift Sport. It packs 125 horsepower and sprints to 100 kilometers an hour in 9 seconds. Fuel consumption is 7 liters for 100 kilometers, and the basic price of 17,700 euros is likewise good news. But what's that looming in the background? A larger-than-life sight in the rearview mirror? The Renault Twingo RS has more power and is veritably raring to shift up a gear. On paper, the RS is certainly impressive. 133 horsepower propelled the 1-ton Mini to 100 in 8.7 seconds, and all that for a basic price of just 15,000 euros. Time to step on it and move into the fast lane. The 1.6-liter engine makes itself heard, and in combination with the short-throw 5-speed transmission, really packs a punch. So it's something of a surprise to find the engine struggling to accelerate at higher speeds. 133 horsepower, after all, should be enough to propel this lightweight. But when the speedometer exceeds 190 kilometers an hour, the Twingo starts to tire. And your expectations should also be modest as regards suspension comfort. It would be best described as stiff as a board. The Swift Sport is more amicable here. The chassis ensures a more comfortable ride, and the longer wheelbase translate into a much smoother ride at high speeds. Although the Swift weighs more and has fewer horsepower, its 1.6-liter engine has the better burst of acceleration beyond the 180 mark. Swift by name, swift by nature. And clocking up 200 Ks looks like child's play. The Twingo also has little to laugh about when it comes to accelerating from low speeds. Moving from 80 to 160 kilometers an hour, it is again left for dust by the heavier and slightly less powerful Suzuki. The Japanese car cuts a very sporting figure. The roof spoiler, twin exhaust pipes, and other gimmicks fit in smoothly and do not look like artificial add-ons. Under normal traffic conditions, it consumes 7 to 8 liters of premium unleaded gasoline for 100 kilometers. At 18,000 euros, it's not a bargain, but the features are certainly up to scratch. 17-inch wheels, climate control, heated seats, and the CD radio are all standard features, even the metallic finish. The little Twingo RS certainly likes to show its muscle. The cup suspension setup offers a 4mm lower ride. The 17-inch rims make their presence felt, as does the chrome exhaust tip. The seats are extremely inviting. Nicely tucked away is the ESP button, but the interior is let down by preponderance of cheap-looking plastic. The Renault's thirst will likewise satisfy economical drivers. Typical consumption is between 7 and 8 liters for 100 kilometers. Not bad. The Suzuki looks perfectly at home on rural roads and eases around curves. The steering is not too sensitive. The result is an exceedingly pleasant spin in the country. But the Twingo RS is also in its element here. What this pocket rocket can conjure up out here is pretty sensational. Watch out, Swift. Here comes the Twingo RS. Whatever the speed, however tight the bend, the RS takes no prisoners. This little guy does not like to take no for an answer. The steering and suspension combine like a dream, and the handling is top class. This is what we expect to see from a Renault Sport Edition. But when it comes to flexibility, the Twingo is unable to shake off the Swift. Great around bends, but second best on the straights. The Renault boasts superb driving dynamics, but disappoints out on the Autobahn. It's okay for the price tag, but it's hardly a world beater. The Suzuki Swift Sport is the more practical car for day-to-day use, and it's both sporty and family-friendly. It comes with adequate features, although the price of just under 18,000 euros is significantly higher. But all things considered, it's worth paying for a deserved winner. A race car, built to perform and provide absolute efficiency. Hundredths of a second, even thousandths of a second count here. The goal, getting as much out of the Audi R15 Plus as possible, to, in the end, conquer Le Mans. Using the Audi R15 TDI as a model, even the smallest detail was re-examined on the drawing board to produce the ultimate race car.
The Plus is basically meant that Audi has looked at everything of efficiency, performance, trying to optimize everything. Something like the light, which is maybe not so obvious, which is improved. That's very important for a 24-hour race. But efficiency, drivability from the engine, in general more power, but you also want better fuel economy. You want better aerodynamics. You want the downforce in the corners, the speeds we want to reach, but you don't want the drag on the straights. You don't want something to hold you back there.
It all starts on the drawing board. These days, that's done with CAD software that allows even the smallest detail to be viewed from every angle. A lot of attention is paid to the car's aerodynamics. Only when everything fits together in theory does assembly begin. Transmission and the V10 TDI engine are mated up, and the Audi R15 Plus with its 600 horsepower and new split front begins to take shape. Now, the test drives can begin. Driver and vehicle become one at higher and higher rates of speed. That's intent, and the more aggressive-looking exterior underscores it. The two designers are also blazing new trails here when it comes to successfully competing in the 24-hour race in Le Mans. Audi designer Markus Auerbach says that in the past the Audi was very controlled, and the design team thought they needed to bring in some uncontrolled elements, like a little rock and roll, and make it a bit more lively. The rock and roll principle could work. It depends on the combination. Attention to detail, improved aerodynamics, and a bit of flash led to a successful start in the 2010 Le Mans Series in May. The entire team supporting the Audi R15 Plus is hoping that'll be enough for victory in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in June. The Maybach SW38 was the final model released by its maker before the Second World War began. Its six-cylinder engine helped the Maybach hold its own with Porsche and Mercedes models, even though at 20,000 marks it was twice as expensive as its rivals. For comparison's sake, in 1936, the mass-produced Opel P4 cost just 1,650 marks. The small Maybach, as it was referred to back then, along with the exclusive 12-cylinder Zeppelin, was not a car for the masses. Our completely restored car from 1936 quickly makes clear that it was worth its price. The interior has space for 6 people in top luxury. Between 1922 and 1941, about 2,200 Maybach automobiles were produced. About 520 of them were SW38s, the largest contingent. The stretch version is more than 5 meters long and weighs in at over 2 tons. The SW38 was also available as a shorter sedan and multiple convertible versions. Many of the details hark back to a bygone era. Usually, customers ordered the Maybach from the factory as just a chassis and would then turn to a dedicated body maker. This Maybach has a Spohn body built in Ravensburg. Hermann Ziegler is the current owner. He's the president of the German Maybach Club. His car was in a disastrous condition when he bought it in 1968. It had been used at a sailplane airfield to launch gliders. The restoration took more than a year. In 1997, the SW38 was completely overhauled. Today, the leather upholstery conceals a bit of the bubbly. Hermann Ziegler's SW38 has been restored to near new condition. Its 6-cylinder engine is worth about as much as a house in a good neighborhood. For a bit of discretion from the chauffeur, passengers have a dividing glass. The driver sits before an exquisite instrument panel comprising elegant materials. The 2 levers on the large steering wheel are used to change gears. The 3.8-liter twin carburetor engine delivers 140 horsepower. The overhead camshaft was considered highly advanced. The Maybach was called the Whispering Giant. The reason why is clear when on the road. Everything was designed for maximum comfort. Long trips were luxurious. The engine purred along, and with a 3.7-meter wheelbase, the SW38 turns rough roads into smooth rides. The pioneering 5-speed transmission can be effortlessly engaged by use of the steering wheel levers. The technical features make it clear why company founder Wilhelm Maybach was considered the king of car builders in his day. His son Karl, who took over the firm in 1921, continued that tradition by producing luxurious vehicles such as the Maybach SW38. The combination of the greatest comfort, top-caliber materials, and cutting-edge technology made Maybach automobiles from Friedrichshafen very popular among the better off.